Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Starring Clark Gregg, MING-NA Wen, Chloe Bennett, Elizabeth Henstridge, Henry Simmons, Natalia Cordova-Buckley, Jeff Ward.
So I want to do something a little different today and talk about what, in my opinion, is the most missed opportunity on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like the biggest thing the show ever did wrong, or the biggest misstep the show ever had. And that was removing Adrian Palicki's Bobbi Morse and Nick Blood's Lance Hunter in order to make a spin-off that never happened. Because Bobbi and Hunter are two of the strongest characters on the show, in my opinion. They're added early on in Season 2, and they immediately change the show for the better. They are so good, they play off of everyone so well, and throughout Season 2 and in early Season 3, they really do make the show feel a lot stronger than it was in the first season. Now, somehow, the show even gets better after they leave with Season 4. But I think that had they still been around in Seasons 4 and 5, the show would have been absolutely phenomenal. It was already amazing in those seasons, but I think it would have made it just a tiny bit better if they had stuck around. But if you don't know what Marvel's Most Wanted was, I'm going to give a brief history. So, in Season 3, Episode 13, Bobbi and Hunter leave the show for good in the episode Parting Shot. And it's one of the most emotional episodes of the show, where the whole episode is kind of about them. We see them on a mission in Russia, and then at the end they're disavowed by S.H.I.E.L.D. and they have to leave forever. This has always kind of been something that has been questioned a lot, that it's kind of a flimsy way to write them out of the show, because S.H.I.E.L.D. is disavowed non-stop anyway. Like every other episode, it feels like S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of an illegitimate organization, so it feels like it shouldn't be that easy to kind of, you know, disavow characters. Like it should be pretty easy to still find ways around that so that they could still be on the show. But obviously the out of universe reason is that they were going off to film a spin-off pilot, which was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s only real proper spin-off. And this was not the first time or even the second time that these characters were thought of for a spin-off. In 2011, before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was even made, there was supposed to be a Mockingbird show starring Adrian as Bobbi Morse. In Season 2 of the show, there was supposed to be a spin-off focusing on both characters that would include the characters doing or working through events that happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2. So it kind of would have been a direct follow-up to a lot of like the real S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff from Season 2, I think. Which that would have been really interesting to see, but I probably would prefer that to be a storyline in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. itself rather than its own spin-off. The thing is though, and this is where things get a little bit flimsy in my opinion, is that this spin-off, the second spin-off, the one that was supposed to take the characters out after Season 2, was passed on because Paul Lee, who was the ABC president, said that S.H.I.E.L.D. was so strong at the moment, so it's better to leave them on S.H.I.E.L.D. rather than mess with the dynamic or mess with the flow. But then, literally 13 episodes later, he does that exact thing where he takes the characters out of the show, he messes with the flow of the show, because in my opinion Season 3 is one of the weaker seasons of the show. It's not bad, I just think that Season 3 has a lot more noticeable flaws and a lot more noticeable issues than a lot of the other seasons do. Like, I don't think it's anywhere near as strong as Seasons 2, 4, 5, or 7. Even Season 1 is kind of moving a little bit ahead of Season 3 now, the more I kind of rewatch that season. But I think it's a little weird to say that you're not going to take them off of Season 2 because you don't want to mess with the flow of the show, just to do that a couple episodes later anyway. It feels kind of like the first spin-off wasn't working, so rather than say the spin-off wasn't working, they kind of made up an excuse that, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D's too good, we don't want to mess with it, because they would do that later anyway. But yeah, so they left Season 3, Episode 13, to go shoot the pilot, and they did shoot the pilot, and then apparently it was a shoo-in for getting a full series order. Like, all the kind of the articles and stuff at the time were saying that Most Wanted was definitely going to happen. No way it wouldn't. It's a Marvel show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is so good at the moment. It's a spin-off of it. It's starring two of the best characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course it's a lock-in. And then it wasn't. Then in May 2016, the pilot was just announced as not moving forward. And it's never been released because Marvel doesn't control the release of the pilot. ABC controls the release of the pilot, and they refuse to release it. Whereas, like, Marvel would release it if they could. Literally the only thing we've ever gotten from the pilot is a brief behind-the-scenes kind of stunt video that was released pretty recently. You could probably find it pretty easily if you look on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. subreddit. But it is kind of crazy that now we're 6 years on from that, and the only thing we have is a very brief kind of behind the scenes video. That screams to me that the pilot really wasn't very strong at all. Now they did say, ABC said they passed on it because the pilot wasn't as strong as some of the other pilots they received that year, but it was a Marvel show, you know, like it would have had viewers on it no matter what, rather than a brand new show with no pre-existing IP trying to build up an audience from the ground up. Like, Most Wanted had a built-in audience already, not just from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans, but also from just Marvel fans in general who maybe hadn't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. but were interested in this new show. So the fact that it was never revisited at all makes me think the pilot was probably a lot worse than any of us maybe want to admit or maybe would expect, because if the pilot was even passable, I think it would have been reworked and eventually made it to series. But the fact that just nothing happened, like it basically just fell off the face of the earth after that pilot was shot, and they never released the pilot even for a Marvel spin-off. Like, even just releasing that pilot on its own would get viewers on it because it's a Marvel unaired pilot, but that never even happened. So to me, I'm pretty sure the show or the pilot was probably very, very, very weak, unfortunately. Personally, I'm both happy and I'm both sad the show didn't get made. For one, I'm sad because it meant that we never saw Bobbi again, and we only saw Lance Hunter once in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, which is one of the best episodes of the show, in my opinion. But that's one reason why I'm sad, because we never see those characters again. One reason why I'm happy is because I feel like it probably would have ended up dividing a lot of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crew. I could have seen a situation where a decent part of people who worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would have moved over to Most Wanted. And that's kind of what happened in the Arrowverse with Arrow and Flash. Once Flash got greenlit, a lot of the crew moved off of Arrow to work on Flash, and Arrow does have a noticeable decrease in Season 3 from its first 2 seasons because of that. And I would kind of hate to see a scenario where that happens, where with Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. onwards, they don't have the all-star crew they used to have because some of them are now on Most Wanted, which, yeah, it would have made Most Wanted a better show, but it also would have, like, we might have not gotten the absolute epic Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 that we did get, because there just was not enough people there to make it work. Well, there would have still been people would have been replaced, but there wouldn't have been the people there before that made the show that great. So I am kind of happy it didn't happen for that reason, but I think removing them from the show at all, even trying to make this spin-off at all, is S.H.I.E.L.D.'s biggest misstep, because you removed 2 of the best characters from the show and you were never able to get them back. Like, Adrienne, she booked new shows almost immediately. She's been a main character on The Orville, which I think The Orville was the reason why she never was able to return for Season 5 like Nick was. And then Lance, he's such a great character, and we deserve to see him so much more than that one brief snippet in Season 5. Like, him in Season 2 with Coulson is one of the best dynamics on the show. I absolutely love that. And he never returned after that episode. And I think that that's just a huge misstep, that it just really, really, really was a weakness in S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, yeah, the later seasons are still epic, but I think they could have been so much better had Bobbi and Hunter stuck around. Like, they're part of the reason why Season 2 of the show is so good in my opinion, because Season 2 is a sleeper hit. I think that's one of the strongest seasons in not just, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but one of the strongest seasons of television I've ever seen. I think it's so good. The reason why Most Wanted was not sent to other networks, because ABC kind of did imply to Marvel at the time, they were like, look, if you really want to make this pilot work, just shop it to other networks. We won't really mind. We'll give you the permission to do that. But apparently Marvel said that it was meant to be paired with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like it was supposed to do a specific thing every night being paired with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that it wouldn't really work without S.H.I.E.L.D. there beside it. But yeah, I would have loved to seen what this pilot could have been. I would have loved to seen what the show could have been, but I also would have loved to seen an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. scenario where Bobbi and Hunter are still main parts of the show. But tell me your thoughts on this. How do you feel about Marvel's Most Wanted? Do you want to see the pilot? Would you have preferred to have Bobbi and Hunter stay on the show, or would you have preferred to see the pilot work? That's a pretty cool question I'd like to hear people's thoughts on. And if you've got any ideas for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos, please let me know. I'm trying to make more of them. The rest of this week is probably going to be very DC filled, because the Flash and Superman and Lois finals are this week, so I want to get the final reviews out. I want to get season reviews out for both of them, and I want to do rankings in terms of like all the Flash seasons ranked and stuff like that, and also the boys this week. So the next Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos will probably not be till early next week, so if you have any ideas, let me know and I can try and get them made before next week. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We're hoping to hit 1K this year, which will be amazing. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and all of that, and I hope you have a great day.